So the Djokovic saga continues, and just as I'm talking, I'm just going to see if there's an update on Sky News, because I talked about this the other day, and like I said, I can stick with what I said then. I can't believe that. Yeah, I can't believe that he deliberately went to Australia, thinking he wasn't going to be allowed his pass. And the latest update I can see is Australia, or at least the Australian, somebody from Australia has said, if you're so outraged about having to follow quarantine rules and laws in this country, you're free to leave. So the Australian Home Affairs Minister, Karen Andrews, has said Djokovic is free to leave anytime and is not being detained. But you're not coming into Australia. And look, I'm not somebody that has a problem with what Australia is doing. It's my point initially when I did my initial video is I don't think Djokovic got on a plane believing he was going to be refused entry. I don't think it was an arrogance in that sense. Now, whatever story was concocted, or whoever said we can give you a medical exemption, that's where it's a grey area. It's like, did Djokovic knowingly give a pass and say, yeah, just make up some bullshit so I can go and play? I don't know. You want to think not. I like to see the best of people. You want to think this is a misunderstanding where somebody said, hey, you've either caught COVID or because of medically you don't have to have the vaccine. For whatever reason, there's some health reason he doesn't want to discuss. He hasn't discussed whether he's had COVID as far as I'm aware. He hasn't discussed if he's had the vaccine. Everybody doubles down on the fact he's well known. I don't think he's actually an anti-vaxxer. He's anti-mandatory vaccines. And again, it's a funny argument when one of the biggest issues around these vaccines at the moment is every time somebody tries to debate them or have a discussion or an opinion about them, you get shut down. And the problem when sports people do it is you can't shut them down. They're free to say what the hell they want, whether you like it or not. And it's very hard to cancel them, which is causing lots of problems. So the bit I'm still confused about is there's no way he got on a plane believing he wouldn't be allowed in. Now, was it the Australian Tennis Open organisation or federation that said, don't worry, we've got you a pass. You don't need to be worried about that. We're going to sort that out our end. Or did one of the people in Serbia, one of his team, say, don't worry, we know a way around the system? They're the two questions for me. They're the two questions. Did somebody assure him we can get better around the system? Don't worry, we're just going to write out a little sick note that excuses you. Or did somebody from the Australian Federation, Tennis Federation, say something they couldn't, were basically writing checks they couldn't cash? Oh, don't worry about it. Because somebody is fucked up massively. And there's going to be Australia, the Australian government is going to be looking for somebody's head to roll. They're going to want to blame this on somebody. Because on one hand, the media is focusing on the outrage of Serbia, the family and the fans. But I think most people, most of us are like, no, sorry, buddy, they're the same rules that apply to the rest of us. I've got nothing against Djokovic. I've always admired him as a person and a tennis player, as much as you could admire anybody that you don't know. He's good at what he does. He's obviously worked hard for it. I respect him for that. Never met the guy, so I don't know if he's an arsehole or not. But hey, mate, these are the same rules the rest of us wake up to every day. You've got to stay in a hotel. Okay? It's like a prison camp. It's good enough for everyone else. Being one of the greatest tennis players doesn't exempt you from anything in the normal world, mate. That's the great thing about COVID. It's an almighty leveler. It doesn't care if you're rich. It doesn't care if you're a celebrity. In fact, it doesn't have any feelings about you whatsoever. The only thing COVID cares about is, can you carry it? So I'm genuinely interested to see how this is going to unfold, because somebody at some point, if it hasn't already happened, is going to be looking for somebody to blame. And now my hunch could be that there was a big error at Djokovic's end with his team, because the way the family and the Serbian government has come out saying it's disgusting that this man is being treated this way, makes me think they're trying to make a lot of noise to drown out something somebody might say, well, you're the ones that have tried to fiddle the system. As for what Australia have done, like I said, that applies to all of us. You can't just be upgraded to a nice posh pad because you can afford it. Who cares, man? So you've got to sit in a room and self-isolate. Welcome to our world. That's how it is for everybody. Your exemption is based on the fact that everyone's outraged that you're a superstar tennis player. And I actually do have sympathy for the guy. If he unwittingly, unknowingly was told, no, we have an exemption in place, all your papers are correct, which is what makes me think he got on the plane in the first place. But then it's whether he knowingly, somebody said to him, look, you know this is bullshit, but we're just going to write this out. It's going to be fine. Because if that has happened, well, mate, you know, you rolled the dice. You got to take whatever numbers come up. That's the same for everybody. If you knowingly are trying to fiddle the system and get caught out, just suck it up and take it on the chin. But I find it interesting that Australia is now saying, look, this seems to be such a hassle for you. Get back on a plane, mate. Go home. We don't need you in Australia. Well, time will tell. We will see how this unfolds. But hey, who cares what I think? Have a great day.